Red Dress Day happens across Canada every May to raise awareness about violence against Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people. 17-year-old Serenity Neepin says she and others were encouraged to show their support at her high school in Roblin, Manitoba, one of 16 schools in the Mountain View School Division. She thought it was a good idea.
You know what? It would be perfect to wear my ribbon skirt. It's a nice day out. I'm going to support this.
Neepin picked up a friend on the way to school, but when she arrived,
I got out of my truck and I made eye contact with this one boy, and he yells towards me, "Indian," and does a mocking Indian call at me. And that hurt very much.
She says this fellow student and his friend laughed at her, but despite this, she held her head high and walked into school. In class, Neepin says he called her an Indian again, but quietly so the teacher couldn't hear.
That's when I was like, no, I had enough. I can't. So I went to talk to my friend and I said, I am uncomfortable. I feel humiliated and I want to go home and change. And that's when she decided, no, we're not letting this slide. We're going to the principal. And that's what we did.
Neepin says the principal seemed caring and told her he would make things right. He brought the boy and his friend to his office and asked if they called her an Indian. They said no. After days of back and forth between the principal, Neepin, and her mom, the principal concludes it's a he said, she said issue and nothing more can be done. But for Neepin, the story isn't over. Grand Chief of the Southern Chiefs Organization, Jerry Daniels, says he stands with Neepin.
They go to school to get education. They don't go to school to be traumatized and treated differently from everyone else.
He has a few ideas on how the situation could be handled.
The messaging coming from the leadership over there can't be, well, it's he said, she said. It has to be, racism will not be tolerated. We have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to racism, and here's the reason, here are the things we're going to do to change it.
Grand Chief Daniels says students like Serenity Neepin need backup.
We would like to see, a First Nations liaison who's in the school. I think that there needs to be a closer partnership with the First Nations in that region to have our own board members as trustees. That's separate from the regular system.
APTN News reached out to the school division. On May 27th, their now former superintendent, Stephen Jaddock, emailed a response. He wrote the division does not comment on individual discipline investigations, but bullying and verbal harassment is not tolerated. He added, "We continue to work with our students in MVSD on reconciliation matters, and school staff will engage students in conversations regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion." In the last few days, 4 weeks after the alleged name-calling, the school division announced Jaddock had departed his position. Soon after, 3 elected school trustees quit. Another current elected trustee, Paul Coffey, said in a public board meeting in April that he refuses to refer to Indigenous people as anything other than Indians, and this about residential schools.
They were good. These are the good things. They're essential for reading and writing and arithmetic. Also enforcement of schools, school attendance.
For now, Neepin says she just wants to move on.
I have not gotten an apology from the boys. I have not gotten an apology from the school. As a matter of fact, that principal won't even look at me now.
She says she's kind of scared to go back next year, the year she graduates.
In my mind, it's like, well, what if this happens next year again? And is it going to be worse, or is it going to be better because now hopefully we're going to take steps forward? It makes me nervous.
Meanwhile, Manitoba's Education Minister, Nello Altamar, says he's ordered what he calls a governance review into the Mountain View School Division. Sav Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg.